What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your favorite Harvard dropout here, back at it again to drop What If Deku Was Fire Fist Ace? Now, does that mean he's going to be his reincarnation or not? Well, you're going to be having to stick around for the whole entire video to find that out. However, today's video's thumbnail was actually made by the legend himself, Dank God, and all his socials will be down below in the description in case you guys want to go check him out. That being said, I do hope you guys are going to enjoy today's video.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
We begin the story of What If Deku Was Fire Fist Ace on the day that Deku was born. Now, the only real change that's going to be happening to him on this day is that Deku's hair is going to be black, meaning that his delivery to Inko and his father Hisashi is all going to remain constant in the story. And none of the real events of My Hero Academia are going to truly be impacted by Deku being Ace up until when he finally does arrive at UA. However, I figure that covering Deku's childhood will give you guys a good insight to what his personality will be and how everything's going to be changing in the story. Now, what do I think would happen if Deku was Ace as a kid? Well, to start things off, I don't believe that Deku would have let half of the things that he had let Bakugo do to him as a child would go on. See, one thing that I believe about Ace is that, like, seeing the flashbacks in the One Piece story and how he pretty much didn't let anybody talk bad about him, but by means of his father, is that he doesn't really like to let stuff slide. And I'm not going to be saying that Ace exactly is going to be Deku, but I'm just going to be giving him a slight bit of that personality where he doesn't let things slide. Is Deku still going to be quirkless in this story? Of course, he's not going to be having any powers. Come on now. No, I'm just kidding. He definitely is. Just not yet. Wait for it. All right, wait for it. Now, Deku is by no means going to be a weak kid in this story. In fact, he's actually going to be a whole lot stronger than normal kids in the universe. That is because this Deku is actually going to be having Haki. Now, is his Haki going to be insane and having armament and observation and all that stuff? No. And he's not even going to be having his devil fruit abilities quite yet. He simply just has the will of D. And that's pretty much all that's pushing him to be a little stronger than the rest of the other people. Now, what is Deku's name going to be in this story? It's going to be Izuku D Midoriya, because why not? You know what I mean? So I think that a good thing to do for this series would definitely be to establish how Deku and Bakugo's relationship is going to be. Now, Deku isn't going to be exactly Deku in this story, but he's also not going to be Ace, if that makes sense. So let me think, what do I want to do with this story? And in case you guys are wondering, how come you have to think about this stuff? It's because this is all unscripted. Like, I didn't even take the time to sit down and think about this. I kind of just plopped down in my chair and decided, you know what? My sickness went away. Let's start recording. Oh, and yeah, that's why I wasn't recording for a while. Anyways though, guys, what I think would be a good place to start the story off would be when Bakugo awakens his abilities. Now, let's say that Bakugo and Deku in this story are actually going to be really good friends up until when Bakugo awakened his quirk. Now, when Bakugo awakened it, Deku actually was extremely happy for him. He thought that, Bakugo was going to be really cool to him. They were going to become good friends and this and this and that. But what actually ends up happening in the story is Bakugo turns out to be a real not nice guy to Deku, to put it bluntly. Bakugo in the story, as soon as he ended up getting his quirk, he ended up telling Deku he might be strong, but without a quirk, he's not going to make it anywhere. And that he has such a powerful quirk, and that he's this and that he's that. And so when Deku was pretty much growing up and seeing all this stuff, he ended up getting tired of it one day. And Bakugo ended up pretty much slapping, or no, not slapping Deku, but shooting an explosion at Deku when he tried to pick him up from the river. If you guys remember that flashback when Deku and the kids were pretty much marching and Bakugo would fall into a small little river and Deku would go over there to pretty much try to pick him up, that would happen. But instead, Bakugo would think that Deku was looking down on him, shoot an explosion at him, to which Bakugo would see that Deku was not about to get hit by an explosion head on. Deku would dodge this explosion and push Bakugo into the water, saying, "I've had enough to hear with you, Bakugo. Ever since you got your quirk, you've changed. You think that you're better than everyone else just because you have some little explosions. We'll see what good those things do you when you have no more friends." As he walks away, And all of Bakugo's little goonies proceed to then look at Deku, look at Bakugo, and then walk away with Izuku. Now, why do they do this? Because it's pretty clear to all of them that just because Bakugo has a quirk doesn't mean that he's stronger than Deku. Yeah, sure, his quirk is impressive, but even with that quirk, Deku was still able to beat Bakugo in fights, and they've actually gotten into quite a couple. Deku usually being the winner, with Bakugo only winning 2 or 3 times out of their like 20 fights. So the other kids definitely know where they should pretty much pledge their loyalty to. Now, with that being said, Deku would end up pretty much going to the quirk doctor about 2 weeks after this day and find out he's, well, quirkless. From here, Deku would normally be crushed, destroyed, saying, do you still believe I can be a hero? But no, that doesn't happen. This Deku isn't going to be giving up on his dreams just because he doesn't have a quirk. Who needs that quirk? That's what Deku would think. And so he would pretty much proceed to start thinking, I mean, I get it, like I don't have a quirk, but like, what about it? You know what I mean? He would not really, how do I put this, care about that so much. You know what I mean? He's like, you know what? I don't even need a quirk. I'll be powerful without it, and I'll become the first quirkless hero. And that's pretty much what Deku would do every single day. He would proceed to start training his physical body, saying that a quirk's not going to be a crutch to him like it is to Bakugo, making him blind to the fact that he also needs to get stronger physically, not only just with his quirk. So Deku would begin training, and he would actually go into a couple martial arts school to learn a little bit of basics of fighting styles and all that stuff. Not only that, but Deku would be a lot stronger than the average quirkless person, which would definitely help him out when it comes to fighting against trained quirk people. And he definitely is going to be having to fight against a lot of those, seeing as he's going to be in some martial arts academies, which a lot of people will definitely have quirks. And what I'm going to be having happen here is, let's see, Deku is going to excel. He's going to excel pretty much a whole ton until he's about at the age of 9 years old. Now, once Deku reaches the age of 9 years old, at this point, he's gotten pretty strong and he's actually pretty popular in school. It's not like he's a kid who's like out, like shy like Deku, doesn't have any friends, lacks confidence. No, this version of Deku has just spews a cool vibe, you know what I mean? Everybody who's around him looks at him as a leader, and he just has this aura of him of like you want to be near him. Have you guys ever met anybody who is just like such a cool guy that you're just like, yo, like, bro, how are you so cool? Like I don't get it. And that's kind of the kind of person that Deku is. So that would kind of lead him to having a whole bunch of friends and a whole lot of kitty. So if you guys don't know what I mean the P-U-S-S-Y word. I can't say that because I don't want to get a yellow check on this video, but I'm pretty sure you guys get what I'm putting down. Now at this age, he is pretty much a kid, so it's not like he's going to be doing anything with that, but I just figured I might mention it. Anyways, though, let's see. What's going to be happening once he gets to the age of 9 is he would pretty much be playing, let's say, hide and go seek. Now, he would be playing with his friend group, and they would all be hiding, and Deku would pretty much end up being hiding on top of a tree. Yeah, he's hiding on top of a tree, and I'm pretty sure many of you guys can see where this is going. Now, at this point, they have been playing for hours, and Deku is getting very, very hungry. And so he would see a weirdly shaped fruit that resembles flames almost. And Deku would be like, you know what? What's the worst thing that could happen? Like, it might be a bad tasting, but I need to eat something. So he would quite literally proceed to grab the fruit and just swallow the whole thing. He would chuck it in his mouth and just eat the whole thing, the entirety of the fruit. Now, it's at this point that he would begin coughing like horribly. He would begin gagging and he would fall from the tree, and the kid who was looking for him would see him and be like, hey, I found you. Now, at this point, Deku would feel strange, as if something in his body has changed. And not only that, but he would also immediately know what it is that just happened. He ate the flame fruit. I think that's what they call it in the Mera Mera no Mi. Yeah, that's what they call it in the Japanese translation, I think. And then it's the flame fruit for Funimation and stuff like that. But with that said, what would end up happening is Deku would be like, yo, I just ate a devil fruit. He wouldn't exactly know what a devil fruit is, but the devil fruit, he would know its powers. And as soon as Deku finds out that he just pretty much got flame abilities, he would think, this is awesome! As he would stick his hand out and immediately flames would engulf from his fist. Now his friends seeing this would be like, you got a quirk! And he would immediately light his both arms on fire and be like, this is so cool! You know what I mean? From this point, Deku would say, I gotta go. And he would run home, get his quirk tested. And from here, Deku would pretty much spend the rest of the years essentially just training with his devil fruit ability. He would start training it to perfection every single day from the moment he gets out of school to the moment he goes to sleep. Deku would train these abilities every single day. Now, Deku training these abilities every single day would pretty much amount to him getting extremely good at using the Meta Meta no Mi. Not only that, but he would actually get a whole lot stronger. And without realizing it, Deku would actually subconsciously have the abilities to activate observation haki. Now, it's not exactly perfected. It's at its very, very beginning stages where he can kind of sense attacks coming at him slightly. Not perfected yet, but you know, he'll get there someday. That being said, though, what I believe would happen here is that there's just going to be a pretty big time skip to the day where he's in class and the teacher would walk him with the papers. Now, when the teacher would walk into the papers being like, hey guys, you know, usually I would hand out job applications, but seeing as I already know what you all want to do, then there's no point since I know you all want to become heroes. You know, he throws the papers in the air and all of the students pretty much begin to go haywire. This is when the teacher will then begin to explain to them that, well, with that being said, they really have nothing else to do for today's class. So he's just going to put on a video and then they're going to just watch it. And that video would be the sponsor of today's video. And at this point, many of you guys are probably like, oh my God, is that there's being a sellout again? Let me go ahead and skip this. But wait, before you skip it, just know it's not actually a sponsor. It's a giveaway. That's right, a giveaway. Now, you guys might be wondering, what is that they're going to be giving away? Well, I'm actually going to be giving away a collectible Bakugo figure. Now, it's really, really cool. And trust me, when I say it's awesome, I literally own one of these myself. I purchased it and it was the coolest thing I've ever bought. Like best thing I've ever bought. I'm going to be buying another one and then I'm going to be giving it away to one of you guys who are a lucky subscriber. Now, you guys might be wondering, how do we even enter this giveaway? Well, for my next following videos, I'm going to be giving this little section of the video and doing it over and over and over so that many people will have the chance to see this. And the way that you guys will enter this giveaway is simply by subscribing to the channel, turning on post notifications, and commenting hashtag giveaway down below in the comments. Legit, just do that and you will quite literally be selected. Now, when the giveaway does happen, I'm legit just going to be going through my comments of a bunch of videos, and whatever video it is that I end up deciding to click on, I'm just gonna scroll randomly and click on one person. Now, does that mean if you spam hashtag giveaway in the comments, you're gonna win? No, I'm probably not gonna choose you. Just comment once on every single video. You can comment 2 or 3 times, that's fine. But just comment like a couple times, and if I click on you, I will just literally like comment down below in your comment, be like, hey, you won, and then you can email me through either Instagram, Snapchat, Discord, whatever it is you guys need to do, and I will be giving you guys the thing. Now, it's been up on screen for a while, so in case you guys were wondering what exactly it was, it's a Bakugo collectible. It's so awesome, and with this huge segment of the video that took up literally 2 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and get back into the story. With the giveaway out of the way, let's get back into today's video. So after the teacher would pretty much end up showing everybody this video, class would end, the bell would ring, and everybody would begin grabbing their stuff. Now at this point, Deku would pretty much just grab his backpack, throw it over himself, and then begin walking outside. It's at this point that his friends would pretty much walk over to him and be like, so, you wanna go hit the arcade? And when Deku was just standing there by his friends, Bakugo would walk by and bump his shoulder on purpose. Like it's clearly on purpose. It's not an accident, none of that stuff. It's clearly on purpose. And Deku seeing this would kind of just be like, watch where you're going. At this point, Bakugo would say, I didn't see you there. It's not like you even give off any presents after all. You're just a cheap copy of me, Deku. You got your quirk after me. Remember that. And Deku would just be thinking, if only he knew how much more powerful I was than him. as at this point, Bakugo would walk out of the building and everybody would begin heading home. Now, on this particular day, Deku would look at his watch and be like, oh snap, it's pretty late, I gotta go. As he would begin running, and he would run inside of this canal, or like this tunnel thing, right? Now, when he goes through it, what he would end up noticing is that the lid of the sewage pipe would pretty much end up be wiggling. It'd be wiggling, and Deku noticing this would be like, hey yo, like, what? Is my boy Pennywise coming out or something? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? But when he looks at it, this gigantic green sludge would pop out of it, and Deku would see this huge thing just coming at him, screaming, give me your body, kid. Now, Deku, as soon as he hears this, would be like, no can do. He would jump away from it, and the sludge villain would pretty much, instead of having this like crazy moment where he's like, I didn't know All Might was in town, he would proceed to tell Deku a sob story, causing Deku to pretty much lower his guard, and then the sludge villain would jump on top of Deku and begin pretty much trying to enter Deku's body. However, it's at this moment that Deku would begin to pretty much engulf himself on fire, and the sludge villain would immediately begin boiling. Now, the sludge villain definitely feels this attack, as it would immediately jump off of Deku as fast as it possibly can. And Deku would simply think, you should have thought twice before attacking me, as he would then pretty much light his fist on fire and say, fire fist, as he would throw a gigantic flaming fist at the sludge villain, and the sludge villain would get blown to pieces. Now, at this same moment, another person who many of us know and love, All Might, would have barely came out of the sewage and would pretty much have to put both of his arms in front of his face as to not pretty much get burnt, as All Might just feels the impact of Deku's fire fist. And after the blow was basically done to the sludge villain, All Might would look at Deku, who was standing there, and pretty much goes, shouldn't have messed with me, as he then sees All Might in his suit pretty much charred up, his hair literally on fire, as All Might would smack the flames away, and Deku would say, All Might, I am so sorry. At this point, All Might would say, it's cool, kid, that's some ability you have. As, you know, from here, All Might would pretty much begin praising Deku, saying that, you know, his quirk is extremely impressive, with him basically saying, but you shouldn't have used it in public. Deku saying that it's because the villain attacked him, he was only using it in self-defense. All Might would say that, oh, well, that's fine, he can't blame him for defending himself, as he would break out into laughter, and as All Might is pretty much just chuckling like, his transformation would just go off. Like, he would literally cough out blood and go into smoke, as the next second he would be Small Might, and Deku, seeing this, would light his fist back up on flames and say, who are you? You're impersonating All Might? As from here, All Might would be like, kid, it's me, trust me. I know it doesn't look like me, but it's me. As Deku would say, and why should I believe you? As All Might would then proceed to say, you shouldn't believe me, but just look at this. He would show Deku his injury and say, I got this fighting a villain a while back, with Deku saying Chainsaw Man, and All Might just being like, nah, you definitely keep up to date with my villains, but no, not him. He was very powerful, but he could never have hurt me this bad. And, you know, from here, Deku would say, all right then, as he would then slightly begin to believe All Might, being like, all right, I guess it kind of makes sense. And from here, what would end up happening is, let's see, All Might would then pretty much begin to ask Deku if he would like to be a successor, explaining, you know, who this man was and how he needs a successor because of his injury. But Deku, after hearing everything, would smile and say, you know, All Might, while that offer might be pretty enticing, I don't think I'm going to be needing it. See, nobody could actually even hurt me as things stand. All Might would be like, what? And from here, Deku would say, my entire body's made of flames. In this world, there's not a single person alive who could physically damage me. Other than water users, of course. As from here, All Might would say, are you serious? He would basically be thinking, this kid, he's incredible. And Deku would then say, oh yeah, and by the way, All Might, I gotta go. My mom's birthday is today. She's gonna kill me. As from here, he would begin to pretty much run off, and All Might would just be left sitting there like, as the sludge villain is knocked out and heard 0% of that, he would bottle up the sludge villain, and I'm just gonna fast forward after the 10 months are over. Now you guys might be like, all right, so how crazy was Deku's training? Oh yeah, it was insane. He ended up pretty much developing every single one of Fire Fist Ace's abilities and then some, making his own powerful moves, which you guys won't even be able to see until we finally get to later on arcs in the story. But if you guys want that, then definitely make sure to go down below and hit that like button, because without a huge amount of likes, this series is gonna get canceled, all right? So yeah, definitely proceed to go down below and like that button a lot. Like smash it with your elbow or your nose or your fist. Yeah, smash it with your fist, because Fire Fist Ace, why not? So yeah, with that being said, what should I do next? Oh yeah, 10 months entrance exam. So the day of the entrance exam would come by, and at this point Deku would pretty much end up being in the car. Now Inka would be driving Deku there. She would say good luck, and Deku would say thanks mom, but I'm not gonna need it, as he would walk out of the car and immediately have a little smirk on his face, thinking that this is about to be a blast. As he then proceeds to say that he's been studying for this for 10 months. There's no way that this test is going to be even a little hard for him. Deku would have walked in with, let's say, black pants, white shirt, and some white shoes. Why not? Now Deku would have pulled up just like that. And if you guys are wondering if he meets Uraraka and trips or something like that, that doesn't happen, but he might meet Uraraka depending on how I feel. So Deku would go inside and pretty much just be waiting for President Mike to give directions. That's when President Mike would start telling everybody about the point system with the robots, and of course he would leave out details with the 0-pointer. Now to this point that Ida would get up and start pretty much saying how, you know, it's disrespectful to forget this and that, and President Mike would say, I was getting to that before you interrupted me. And at this point, the entirety of the place would just break out in laughter. Ida saying that, you know, he should keep his mouth shut. Ida would get like just royally embarrassed, and then he would proceed to sit down. As Deku was just one of the people laughing, Ida would give Deku a dirty look, and from here they would all pretty much take their tests, with Deku getting an A and then going outside to the robot portion of the exam. Now here is where I'm not sure what I want to do. Now Deku would go outside, and what I believe happens here is, honestly, Deku would kind of just be stretching, just being like, you know what I mean? Like he's just stretching. He got his AirPods in, you know what I mean? And he got his tunes blasting in his ear, you know what I mean? And he's just relaxing. Deku at this point is just thinking that, you know, how is this all going to be working? Is there something more to this exam other than points? Just kind of critically thinking about things, losing himself in his own mind, you know what I mean? Not his mind, but like his mindscape. I don't know if you guys know what I'm saying, but you guys know when you're like kind of thinking about something really hard and you end up spacing out. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for, spacing out. He would space out, and from here, this is when a boy with blue hair would walk up to him and say that he found it pretty disrespectful how he laughed at him along with all the others. As Deku would still be spaced out, at this point would literally proceed to fall asleep as Ida's talking to him. As Ida's like, are you asleep? He would then proceed to throw a reciprocal burst. No, not a reciprocal burst. That's a little too crazy. I don't think he even had that yet. I'm going to say he throws like a really fast kick at Deku using his engine quirk, and Deku pretty much gets hit with the not the reciprocal burst, but the kick, as Deku's body literally just turned into flames. Like Ida's kick went right through him, and Ida would just be like, what? I didn't even touch him. At this point, Deku's eyes would like immediately open as he would look at Ida and say, that's some grudge you hold against me. Everybody else was laughing. I can see at least 5 other people there that were laughing at you right next to me. How come you didn't go bother them, huh? As Ida would just take 2 steps back and say, why did my kick go through you? Deku would say, not only that, but you then kicked me. You assaulted me. What should I do, huh? As he would then say, you think I should pay you back that favor? And before Deku would pretty much get ready to kick like Ida, President Mike would say, are you guys lazy or something? Go, go, go. There's no countdowns in a real battle. Deku would look at it and say, oh, yeah, gotta go. You're not worth my time. As he rushes out, and pretty much uses his flames to turn his entire body into like just engulf himself in flames like the Human Torch. Now, when he does this, he would fly into the area using flames off of his fists and hands. Did I really just say fists and hands? I meant like his hands and feet, as he just propels himself in a similar fashion to Bakugo. If Bakugo can do it, then Deku definitely can. Now, as for Bakugo, I do believe he's going to be a lot stronger in this story just because he has somebody that he knows is stronger than him. So he pushes himself even harder, and in return that ends up with Bakugo being a lot stronger than the original. So with that being said, I think that he's currently stronger than Todoroki, which definitely puts him at a pretty high level, and you know, he's more in tune with his quirk in this version. So there's that, but it's really not going to affect Deku in any way, trust me. And with that said, Deku would pretty much just rush into the place and fly into a couple of robots, melting them. You know, the place that he would fly straight through them and the robots would melt. That's how hot his flames are. Deku would proceed to do that over and over and over with whatever robots come his way, not caring if they're 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, none of that matters to him. He's just going in there, obliterating robots after robot, like completely eviscerating every single one of the robots, just completely like making everybody else like dwarfed in terms of how strong he is compared to them. And when that happens, everybody else is kind of just watching Deku like do all the crazy things that he's doing in complete awe, as Deku is just obliterating every single robot in his path, you know what I mean? And so what would end up happening is Deku is just showing off a little too much, and All Might is watching everything in the place where Nezu's at, just kind of with a smile on his face, thinking that kid's gonna be the symbol of peace one day. As you know, he has a smile on his face, and he's also thinking about his own successor, Mirio Togata. Many of you guys might be like, all right, Mirio got the quirk, pretty simple. And yeah, I figured I would just give it to him, seeing as I'm not about to give it to Bakugo. And yeah, so what ends up happening here is Deku just completely like keeps destroying robots over and over and over until Nezu eventually pretty much lets out the 0 pointer. Now at this point, the ground would begin to shake and everything would pretty much start going into complete chaos. All the other people who aren't on the level of Deku would begin running away from the 0 pointer, meaning everybody. And as the ground begins to shake, the 0 pointer would pretty much begin to come out from the ground, and it would be revealed that there's this massive giant, like huge thing in front of him. Now, Deku, as soon as he sees this, he would notice Uraraka is pretty much just got crushed by a little bit of rubble, and he would look up to see this gigantic 0 pointer, as he would think that thing is insane. From here, the ground would shake more and more, as the 0 pointer would then begin to take more steps after Uraraka's direction. Deku, seeing this, would think, I gotta do something, as the robot would begin getting closer to Uraraka, and it would eventually begin getting closer and closer until what? Until what? Well, if you want to find out what happens afterwards, then you guys are actually going to be having to hit a like goal of 1,000 likes. Actually, I don't know if you guys can hit that. 500 likes, all right? 500 likes. As soon as you guys hit 500 likes, I'll probably end up dropping the second part. And you will also have to comment #FireFist in the comments down below if you guys want to see a part 2 to this series. With that being said, that has been all for me today. I love each and every single one of you guys, and I am out. Peace.